But what I can say is that our current congresswoman is somebody who has basically made it her mission in life, especially the last few years, to just constantly talk about Trump. That's all she wants to do. That's her mission. And so here's another prime example of just that.
I'm frustrated that the media is literally dissecting every word that comes out of Joe Biden's mouth and is ignoring the fact that the Republicans are about to nominate, again, a convicted felon who's an adjudicated rapist, who's still.
So this is a person who makes this statement and all the while has been breaking the law herself. So it's easy to see why people just do not care, as if to suggest that you're accepting Trump for his behavior. No. But what you're basically saying is they all suck. How are we supposed to be picking any type of a choice that makes sense when we know that if you're going to have somebody like Debbie Wasserman Schultz as a spokesperson, you're not helping the Democratic Party. You're hurting it significantly. And there isn't anybody who is in a position of authority to tell her, could you please stop going on national television? It's not helping us. And I'm also curious to know if she's ever actually been in a situation where she did say something, they asked her not to, and then she said, I'm Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and I always do what I want. She's like the female Eric Cartman. I do what I want. We'll continue.
Denies that he lost the 2020 election, who is committing to upend every single accomplishment that Joe Biden has helped make sure we can recover after.
Again, the constant blinking, the constant pausing. She's like, I got this. I got this. I'm going to go up there and say how Biden is great and Trump is an evil man and he must be stopped.
COVID and the 15 million jobs that were created. Yeah, I am pushing to make sure that we can focus on what the danger lurking down the road is that if we don't make sure that we rally and focus on Donald Trump and the extremist good versus evil.
Good, there's the word, good versus evil. He's evil. We must stop him. She's not the only one. But this type of talk, you think it's not going to get somebody eventually who's just going to be like, we have to, this guy's Hitler, we got to stop him. If we don't stop him, who will? We're all doomed. The system's broken. And if you cannot come to terms with that, this is going to get worse. A lot worse. This is not an endorsement of Trump. This is a recognition that our system is broken and people like her are why it's broken. They do not care about anything other than their stupid, pointless, useless, listless career, of which she is a colossal failure at, aside from insider trading. That she's pretty good at.
Existential threat that he represents to our democracy, then we're going to end up back there again. And that's the nightmare scenario my constituents want to avoid.
Your constituents want to avoid? When is the last time you knocked on a door of a constituent to ask them what they care about? I can assure you, you don't, because I'm the one out there with many others knocking on doors. They haven't seen you in over 20 fucking years. You don't give a fuck about your constituents. Full stop.
Trump's Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Millions of Americans lost the right to make their own healthcare decisions. Since Trump did this, 14 states enacted extreme abortion bans, wreaking havoc on the lives of American women and families. It happened in my home state of Florida, and more states will follow suit. And now Trump's team has a detailed blueprint for what his next 4 years, God forbid, would look like, called Project 2025. It's 900 pages of legal and administrative assaults on our freedoms, rights, and progress. Mr. Wu, you're very familiar with Trump's Project 2025 and have a deep legal background. I want to ask you some rapid-fire questions, so if you could just start off with yes or no. These current abortion bans, including one in my home state of Florida, are ruining women's economic security. Would Project 2025 make those economic hardships worse for American women?
Yes, I believe so.
Again, these softball questions that you throw, you do nothing to actually inspire anybody to fix the problem. It's because of people like you that people turn to somebody like Trump and you end up with policies that fuck women over. That is a fact.
We know Trump abortion bans keep women in abusive relationships. Would Project 2025 make those horrible situations even worse?
Yes.
So once again, it's another layup shot that she's trying to throw. Yes, if this happens, if that, of course, all of that is relevant. What is she actually doing to fix the problem? She's doing nothing. Florida went from a swing blue to a red state under her watch over the last 20 years, 5 of which was her as the head of the DNC, in which she literally drove the party into the ground. Probably on purpose, specifically to ensure that Hillary Clinton was able to swoop in, fund the party, and take it over completely. And here we are.
These Trump abortion bans disproportionately harm already vulnerable populations, especially low-income and communities of color. Would legal assaults on abortion rights in Project 2025 inflict even more harm on these communities?
Yes.
Thank you.
Congresswoman, I hear you talking about Donald Trump and trying to put the focus back on him. He's been very quiet over the last several days and has just let this play out amongst the Democratic Party. I hear you focusing on the accomplishments you want to highlight from this president. And yet that's not the story that's out there right now. So are you frustrated? How damaging do you think this is, particularly as we get closer to November?
Can I just say how much corporate media really sucks? How this is not journalism. This is just entertainment. I don't even need to hear any more of what she has to say. I am not blaming Debbie Wasserman Schultz for Trump getting shot over the weekend. But what I will say is that type of rhetoric has to stop quickly. This election between Jen Perelman and Debbie Wasserman Schultz is between a moderate and an extremist. Jen is the moderate and Debbie is the extremist. If you think the course of action that has been charted for the last several years and going forward should continue with someone like her, then you're an extremist. You want to tone things down and get things that matters, which are issues, kitchen table issues that everyone is affected by? Support Jen Perelman. That's the answer. Because I highly doubt that she's going to get on camera on a national TV audience and talk about how evil Trump is when we should be talking about how evil multinational corporations are that make sure that they don't have to pay a living wage and they don't have to give universal health care. How much you think that would resonate with regular people? How much you think ending endless war would resonate with millions upon millions of people, knowing full well that the reason why we have and have spent about $1 trillion a year is because it is a corporate slush fund of the highest order. That is what our defense budget is all about.